And welcome, guys, once again, the Scarlet and Gray podcast, Ohio State football with Scarlet and Gray on YouTube. Please subscribe if you can. Why do you want to subscribe? You ask. Well, because we have a show that has all news, rumors, information, camp updates, everything you want for free, Ohio State free content. And also, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers for the sole reason of having to qualify for the YouTube partnership program. I apologize, I'm reading my notes here. Qualify for YouTube partnership program. And once we hit 1,000, we will do a giveaway. So we thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the longtime listeners, the loyalty we've seen from friends and family alike. Guys, we appreciate everything. I am on the show today with none other than the Chris Drew, Justin Fields doppelganger. I'm sure he can.
I wish. I wish. Come in. I'm at the crib. I've got a lot of information that I'm ready to get into with you, man.
Awesome. We're going to talk about the quarterback stuff. We got another video coming out this week with Shane Larson talking about the quarterback, but we're going to attack it from a different angle this time around. So we're going to give you every possible angle on this what most anticipated quarterback battle going into Ohio State. If it'll extend into fall, in fact, we'll see what happens. But we got the spring game coming up on Saturday. It'll be interesting to see who performs and who. I mean, spring game isn't everything. We've seen Burrow outperform Haskins, and we know what happened there. But it'll be interesting to see who plays well, who doesn't play well. But that being said, Chris, you've described yourself to me privately, right? You said, I am not pro Miller. I am not pro Stroud. I am pro Ohio State. That
right.
Is exactly who you are.
That is exactly who I am. That's how I would describe myself to anyone, because right now I feel like we're chasing Alabama. And we have just kind of, we are, I'm not going to say we passed Clemson, but we are there with Clemson. We were both chasing Alabama. And for me personally, the only thing that matters is winning football games. And so I want the quarterback out there that's going to win the most football games. And I'm going to attack this quarterback battle and the information I get as critically as possible, because I think that's important for the fan base to hear, because it's not about seeing everything through Scarlet and Gray, glasses. It's about how can this team be better? Who is the best quarterback for this team? And how can we catch Alabama in the near future? Because for Ryan Day's legacy, there's nothing more that I want for him is to get a title or two in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. And we all are pretty confident he will get a title at Ohio State, maybe even multiple titles. I mean, I'm actually in belief that he will stay for 15 years if he wants. I don't believe because everybody says he's an NFL guy. I was like, I don't necessarily know that. I think he's a guy who just wants a great head coaching job, and he's already at a great head coaching job. In fact, when he got hired at Ohio State, it was reported by, I believe, Nevada Buck at Buckeye Scoop, who said that a lot of NFL general managers and whatever director of personnel and whatnot and owners were ticked when he got hired at Ohio State, because they knew it was a destination job. It's not a job you just jump from. So it's possible his name will be in the headlights every year. We know this because he's going to have a lot of success at Ohio State. But he's inching closer. He's inching ever so close to that title. But now, he had Haskins at first, who is an offensive coordinator who was not recruited by him necessarily. Then he did recruit Justin Fields to Ohio State as a transfer. So it wasn't, and he got you can say he pretty much developed Justin Fields. I mean,
for sure. He wasn't getting developed by Kirby Smart in game, so we know that.
There's a reason he left. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now it's his guys. He's recruited. He recruited Jack Miller as an offensive coordinator. He recruited C.J. Stroud. Kyle McCord's in there as well. I'm not really including his name because I really think there's it's a long shot he could be the starter. It's going to be Stroud or Miller. And most of Buckeye Nation thinks it's going to be Stroud.
Right.
You have a little bit of a different opinion based on what you're hearing out of scrimmages and out of camp. Am I right?
Yeah. So let me start with this. It is my belief, I could be wrong on this, that I think Kyle McCord's camp and Kyle McCord knows that it is not in the best interest of Ohio State football for him to start this year, unless he is head and shoulders. I'm talking about a mile and a half better than the other two. Yeah. So I think it's very clear. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. And I think the potential battle with him and Quinn Ewers a couple of years from now should be very exciting and very good. But for this year, I believe that there are two legitimate options, and those two options are Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud. Now, Buckeye Nation is, like you said, is kind of anointed C.J. Stroud as the next up. And I'm not here to say that won't happen, but I'm here to say, whoa, not so fast, for a couple of reasons. First of all, Jack Miller had a good spring. And I figured something like this would happen because of who Jack Miller, the dude, is. Quiet, confident, and a really good quarterback, obviously. It's funny because people are almost acting like he was not an Ohio State caliber quarterback as the season progressed. Like, obviously, it's going to be Stroud, right? Wrong. Let's talk about Jack Miller for a sec. Jack Miller was super highly rated coming out of high school, early high school, super highly rated, playing in a football program that does not have elite structure. And because of that, he suffered some injuries and was playing on the run a lot. That is the only reason his ranking slid. That is the only reason, because Jack Miller, talent-wise, is right there. And I told you yesterday that I think arm talent-wise, he's actually better than CJ. And we'll dig into that a little bit. And additionally, he's a guy that for the first time is playing in structure with this Ohio State team. And so it doesn't surprise me at all to hear that he has had a really good camp and he's been playing really well at scrimmages and he's been throwing absolute dots whenever he gets the chance to. Like, Jack Miller is here, and this is a legit quarterback battle. And this is something that I think will end up being carried on. And I disagree with the belief that he's kind of always been running second this entire time, because, I mean, the first backup snaps of the game when we blew a team out, he was the first one out there. Like, I know that CJ went out there when Justin got hurt, but my belief is that he hasn't been running second this entire time, despite what everyone may want to think and may want to push.
Yeah, I think the week of the Clemson game when Justin went down and we were all terrified, when he did. We were just, please be okay. It's like Simba and Mufasa. Get up,
literally that moment. Stowski is Scar. Like, that's just how it is.
We were all, and then CJ goes in there. I think it might have come down to CJ just had a better week of practice or something.
I think that is very likely the case.
Yeah, and I'm not, again, when we say this, we're not dissing CJ. We understand his talent. We understand how great he can be. I'm at a point now where I've been an Ohio State fan longer than you've been alive, Chris. I mean, I'm old. I'm getting older. I've remembered where it was the times where it was Kirk Herbstreit, where it was, Bobby Hoying was solid, but after him, jeez, and then you had Stanley Jackson and Joe Germain battling out, and every time Stanley would go in, I'd cringe. It's like, oh, please put Joe back in. I know Joe's not perfect. And then Joe was a good quarterback. And then after that, Krenzel, Steve Belisari. I lived through that era. I mean, it's like you didn't have either you had nobody or you had one guy. Braxton Miller, Joe Bowserman. You guys lived that. That's what it was every year for Ohio State.
So my first quarterback, because it's funny, my mom went to Michigan. So my first quarterback as a fan was because my uncle put me on Ohio State, and I got to see. I was spoiled off the gate with Troy Smith. Was the first quarterback that I sat through and watched season.
Get out of here! You don't even.
Yeah, just absolutely spoiled. And then the Bowserman thing happened. And I was like, we don't like this. Yeah, we don't like this. That's
funny
exactly
thing
what
is,
it was.
You got to experience it too, though, because after Troy, there was nothing.
Yeah. I remember going to the Akron game. I don't even remember the name of the quarterback that year, but they won 20-2, and I was like, wow, Uncle Johnny, this guy stinks.
Yeah, it was not pretty. It was, but that's every year. It was Terrell Pryor, nobody. It was Braxton Miller, nobody. JT Barrett had at least Cardale there, and then And then in 2016, who was the backup in 16? I think it was Burrow and Haskins, technically.
Yeah, correct.
But Burrow was young, and we didn't know what we had there necessarily. Haskins,
and then Burrow had the injury as well.
Yeah, that was in 17 too.
17.
And then Haskins, we didn't quite know. We knew he was talented, but that's when it started to okay, we still have some options here. And then Haskins, again, after Burrow left, and we had Haskins, and you had, Martell and Baldwin. Please don't get hurt, Dwayne.
Neither of which are playing football. Neither of them are playing football.
Exactly. And Baldwin, because of an injury, unfortunately. I think he actually had some decent talent, but still.
I thought Maxey had some upside. He had one of my favorite releases in high school that I'd seen. A great snappy wrist release. Yeah, super accurate. Went to Lake Travis High School, and I believe broke some of Baker Mayfield's records. Yep. And you know who else went to Lake Travis? Mr. Garrett Wilson as well.
Garrett Wilson. And Caleb Burton's transferring there.
Correct. Yep, he's there too.
So anyway, we're at a point now where it's like guys. It's a long story just to get to this point. I'm excited. I don't have to be upset at whoever they pick. It's like we got talent all up and down. So I'm not dissing CJ, but people are disregarding Jack like he hasn't beaten him in head-to-head camps before, or like Jack doesn't have talent.
Yeah. So let me start with this. So we are propping up Jack Miller because we don't see anybody else doing it. And me personally, I've been a Jack Miller fan for a long time, and I think he's uber talented. I'm going to refer back to a lot of stuff that happened in high school because that's kind of the last time we saw both them throw the ball against each other. and they're from the same region. And the Elite 11 camp, they go region by region before inviting people to the big opening. So at this camp, the first one that CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Jack Miller were all at, it was very windy and it was raining. And the quarterback that scored the highest and did the best was Jack Miller, a healthy Jack Miller. He showed off his incredible arm strength. It caught Palmer's attention. It caught Trent Dilfer's attention. He outperformed everybody there. And it's funny because one of the things that was talked about during that time, it's like, well, these are all like West Coast warm weather quarterbacks. So you can really see who really has an arm and who's really can push that ball through these conditions and who's really just a warm weather quarterback. And Jack looked the best with what Palmer said is kind of below average mechanics. We think that he's only getting about 50% of his arm capability into this, and he still is throwing the ball with more accuracy and harder than all these other quarterbacks. Yes, CJ Stroud was there. He went on to win the MVP of that event. And I'm someone who trusts what I see, and I can tell you that that's not nothing. That is 100% something, because despite rankings, most years you see that group of quarterback gurus get together and kind of get this thing right. Now I disagree with the 1 year. I think last year they had it and they gave it to Williams without doing what they should have, and that's fine. But in years that they've been able to have a full process, they'll usually get us, tell us what it is. And that particular camp, the fact that Jack Miller in the wind and in the rain earns that Elite 11 invite, and CJ Stroud did not. You know when CJ Stroud got his invite, Corey?
When's that?
He got his invite because DJ Uiagalelei declined. That is what happened. That is the reason why CJ got invited. Now, obviously, CJ went on to win the Elite 11 MVP, and it's an incredible story, and I'll dig into that a little bit later. But that is why he got the invite to the opening, because DJ Uiagalelei said, no, I want to stay with my team and work on camp as they're preparing for a state title run.
I'm glad you're saying his last name. I refuse to try. So, anyway, we're going to continue this in the part 2, guys. We got a little bit more into what gives maybe Stroud the edge a little bit. It's a little bit of we're going to talk a little bit deeper than just X's and O's on this, and we're also going to talk about their backgrounds as to how different they are in juxtaposition together, and what it can contribute to them, and as to how they continue their progress forward to trying to be the starter at Ohio State. We'll be right back, guys, with part 2.